Welcome to Veterans One, where we bring you incredible resources, organization, and information to help you better serve our military and veteran community. In this episode, we're going to be talking about PTSD and maybe some great outdoors that might really help in aiding the healing of this incredible crisis that we have with our veterans today. We're also going to talk about VA homeownership, as we're so excited about, and we have a special replay for you don't want to miss. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs, and this is Veterans One, brought to you by Synergy One Lending. I've got quite a treat for you right now. Here at Veterans One, we have a very special guest. I've had the privilege of meeting this young man before, and you want to talk about an inspiration, this is it. Get ready, you're about to meet Erik Galvan. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me back.
Now, I've talked with you before, but our viewers now are getting to see you here. You are such an inspiration, and I really want to touch on that. And I'm going to ask you some questions about everything you've got going
Absolutely.
on. But if you don't mind just touching real quick your background as a veteran and when you served, and kind of just share your story a little bit.
Yes, so I joined right out of high school back in 2009. Was 17. My parents had to both sign this waiver saying, oh, we're letting your child go to the military. Got lucky, got stationed here in California. Deployed in 2011 and unfortunately was injured overseas. I stepped on an IED, which is improvised explosive device, and it took both my legs and my right hand. And the road to recovery was a little tough. Depression set in, anxiety set in, and I was 19, so I really didn't know what to do.
You were a baby.
I was essentially, and I didn't know what to do. And my wife now, we were just dating at the time, was, she was basically my rock and was like, hey, you need to get up, you need to do something. And I didn't know what to do. She's like, go to school. Just get out of the house. You're driving me crazy. Go to school. And so, I started going to school, and then from there, it just took off. And, everything just started, falling in place. So.
Well, I want to back up on that a little bit. So you just say go to school, which, for a lot of people can think one thing, but that's a big deal. You didn't just go to any school. You went to Cal State San Marcos. I did. And you graduated when? Wasn't that long ago?
And, I finished, believe it was December 2016.
Okay.
So it was like just shy of 4 years there, because I just continued, I just never stopped. I was just school. But I walked, I believe it was June of 2017, and then I think it was June 17. My dates are mixed up. And then I jumped right into grad school. And so I'm like 2 semesters away from graduating. And so I'm very excited.
Where did you go to grad school?
I applied to San Marcos and USC and got accepted to USC.
Congrats.
And thank you so much. And so I finished again, a semester and a half, because I'm almost done with this semester. And I'll have my master's here shortly, my first in the family, and I'm just ready to just, hit the floor running.
That's a huge accomplishment by itself. Without you even being a veteran, coming home injured in the way that you have been, and just talk about complete life change. Most of us can't even imagine what you've been through, and I know we've kind of glossed over it, but what you had to overcome and relearn everything. Then you went onto the college campus where you probably didn't feel like you fit in too much at first.
Absolutely not.
So to even go through and get your degree with that transformation is tremendous. You got married, didn't you?
I did get married. We'll have our 2-year anniversary here in August. And it's been a crazy, fun adventure. Been together with my wife for 9 years now, but married for 2. And she's been there every step of the way, and I am just absolutely grateful for her.
Well, we are so grateful for her as well. And the fact that you had that support, I'm sure, made a tremendous difference in the support of your family.
Absolutely.
You had the support of probably some great faculty and people that you met at the university.
Yeah.
Now, grad school, I'm sure that hasn't been easy.
Oh, no. Grad school, that's a whole roller coaster in itself. I was very motivated leaving my undergrad to go to grad school. So my undergrad, it was just kind of a stepping stone for me. I always knew I wanted to go to grad school and get my MSW, social work degree, so I can work with other vets. And so my bachelor's was kind of, okay, it's done, it's cool. And then I went to my grad school, very motivated, sprinted right out of the gate, took a full load grad school, which is very difficult, by the way, and got really burnt out. My first semester, I was pulling my hair out, not sure if I was going to complete it because it was just way too much. I'm fortunate enough that I don't have to work, so it's just nothing but school, but I was so stressed and overwhelmed with the workload as a full-time grad student that I was like, you know what, I just might drop out. And here comes my wife again to my rescue. And it's like, no, just go part-time and see what happens. And that's what I did. And yeah, like I said, I'm 2 semesters away from graduating, so I'm very excited.
And you mentioned that you want to use now your graduate degree and you want to now serve veterans,
right.
Which is amazing, because you could have said, no, now I'm going into accounting, anything. You could have said anything that you wanted to fulfill, but now you've chosen a passion of serving. Tell me what it is that you're looking forward to doing.
Working with veterans, and children. I think that was a new kind of little add-on that I thought about in the recent, years. Children as well, working with disabilities and other health issues. But specifically for veterans, working on the transition piece, because the transition is not easy. For the normal veteran doing 4 or 5 years, whatever their time is, just that time away from the civilian life and transitioning back, it comes with its own difficulties. You've been away for 4 or 5 years. The friends that you grew up with moved away doing their own thing. You've been basically recreated in a sense, and now they're being kind of tossed back to the wolves, so to speak, because now you're coming back and you don't know what's what. For example, for me, I didn't know how to go to school. My parents didn't go to college. My wife walked me through the process, and some of the faculty there at San Marcos helped me. We don't necessarily really know how to, apply for a mortgage and things of that sort. And so it's,
which you did, right?
Which I did. I'm a homeowner, which is very fortunate.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. But it's these little stepping stones that our peers typically kind of go through gradually and kind of get assisted with that we don't as veterans. Many of us join right out of high school like I did. And then, you serve your time and, do many years, most of them, and they come back and stuff is just not the same. It's very taboo to them. So I want to work with vets and help them transition, not correctly, but, more in a positive manner. Many of them turn to drugs and alcohol to cope, and it's a downward spiral quickly.
Right. Yeah, there's such a majority, not a majority, but there's so many that suffer then with PTSD, with depression, like
right.
you said, with dealing with maybe the opioid addiction. You have come through this, and I am sure that this has been a tremendous journey for you. Yeah. But you can see that you have such a positive, incredible perspective, and the fact that you want to continue serving and helping others, you're creating a legacy. And so thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
And thank you now for what you're about to do to help others. I'm really excited to stay in touch with you. If we can have you back on again.
Absolutely.
We're excited to hear what you're going to be doing in outreach with helping others and what you've got ahead in your career with your beautiful wife. Thank you so much for being on today, Erik.
Thank you so much.
Boy, we could all learn something from Erik. What an amazing, incredible story, and what an incredible attitude that goes with it. I think we're all inspired and empowered. Stay tuned. We have got more coming up for you in just a minute.
Video marketing on social media is trending as one of the major means of advertising and building your personal brand in 2019. You're probably asking yourself, what does Synergy One Lending do to get a front row seat to this show? You may not know this, but Synergy One Lending has access to the lights, camera, and action that brings social media marketing to a whole new level. Want to check it out? Look at that, we're already here. It's crazy, right? Thanks, guys. This is the main studio at the Synergy One Lending headquarters in San Diego, California, which is equipped with 3 remote-controlled HD cameras, 10 total TVs, and many high-quality production studio lights. Right now, I'm sitting on what we call the Storyteller set, which was recently updated with new furniture, a 9-monitor wall behind me, a giant touchscreen TV, and of course, the green screen, which you just saw. By the way, this is where I filmed my show this week today. Over here is our podcast station, which is equipped with 4 high-quality microphones and headphones and is capable of receiving phone calls in real time during your podcast session. This right here is our main desk. Outfitted with 2 TVs and a customizable color LED strip, this desk is now the home place for many other podcasts and shows produced by Synergy One Lending and Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. So you must have a ton of marketing ideas now floating around in your head. This studio is the perfect way to create videos for your social media awareness and grow your business. Here, you can and will deliver a digital mortgage and digital content that has no equal in mortgage lending today. Be a modern loan officer. We hope to see you here soon.
There's been such a growing awareness for PTSD and the effect that has not only on the veteran, but also on the family. And there's some incredible organizations that are stepping outside the box to help make a difference. We have an organization now that is no different, as they have really brought together the great outdoors and healing therapy to start helping our PTSD and our veterans and their families. We're going to be talking with Jessica and Kaleb today. So great to have you guys on.
Thank you very much for having us.
Now, Jessica, I want to start with you. Kaleb, I promise we're going to get to you. But I want to talk to you about how you and your husband, he's still serving, how you serve as a family and what your background is in that.
Yes, my husband is an active duty Navy senior chief, and he's been in for 19 years now. Retirement coming soon.
Yay!
And we've been blessed to be in San Diego for 18 years.
Oh, that is a blessing.
Yeah.
You didn't have to move around.
No.
So you guys started a foundation, though, while he's still active duty.
Yes.
And it's Special Liberty Foundation.
Special Liberty Project.
So
yep.
just my apologies,
That's
Special
okay.
Liberty Project. But talk about what made you guys start this. I mean, you're already an active duty family. You're busy enough. I want to point out the fact that you mentioned you have twins.
I do.
So that's a full-time job by itself. What took place that made you guys realize we need to start something to make a difference?
So back in 2016, my husband had the opportunity to support a Duncan Hunter dove hunt out in the desert, and we just financially supported it, brought guns and ammo and sent him off, and he contacted a wounded warrior that we knew, and I was like, okay, go have fun in the desert, shoot some guns and have a good time. And it really wasn't until after that event that we really realized the impact that just getting outside with other veterans would have upon their lives.
Was that like an awakening aha moment?
Well, I actually was contacted by the wounded warrior's spouse, and she shared with me that he was having, going through some mental issues and having dark thoughts, and their marriage was on the rocks, and just that simple little trip and being able to talk to somebody else who had been in his shoes really was able to pull through and rejuvenate his life. So.
And I always talk about on this show the fact that it is the whole family that serves. It is not just your husband that's serving, you are serving. And firsthand, like you're saying, as you're talking to other spouses, you see there's such a camaraderie there of what you guys go through.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you saw the great outdoors, like this is gonna work, this hunting trip made a difference. How did you transcend that next into really starting this project?
Well, my husband and I had a conversation after that small hunting trip, and the very next day we started filling out the nonprofit paperwork, and within 2 months we had our launch party and we're out on our very first Special Liberty Project hunt. Our goal was to have 4 events that first year, and we ended up having 12 because the need was so high.
Wow.
And thankfully we found this guy to help out.
Yeah, let's segue into Kaleb. I promised we were gonna get to you. What made you bring it? First, Kaleb, talk about your service real quick.
Retired Marine. I came in 2007 from a small town in Virginia, joined the Marine Corps, got injured in 2010, 2012, and then retired in 2013 due to different injuries.
Well, thank you for your service. Yeah. We truly appreciate it, and I'm sure now that the work that you're doing and the serving you're doing is impacting even more, so I love how you've paired that in. How did you come to know Jessica?
I actually got a phone call one day from this very high-spirited lady. I always call her
the crazy lady.
Yeah. I have a lot of energy.
Wear that proudly.
I'm very energetic, and I'm not used to other people having that same energy level when they talk to me.
Oh, you're in a sandwich of it right now.
I got this phone call from somebody I'd never met that's really upbeat, high, and asked me to go on this hunt. And I go, well, I don't know. I'll let you know. I talked to my wife. She's like, just go. It's here in San Diego. You don't really have to travel. So I go on the hunt. It was her husband and a friend of his, and they guided our turkey hunt that we did in right on Palomar Mountain. 3 days. Didn't get a turkey, didn't see a turkey, but we had a blast.
Yeah, but you had a great time.
That was the main thing. We had a blast. They made us feel like we were a part of their family, and we just met these people, and they brought us in. It was, it was that military camaraderie.
Right.
And then I found out that he was getting ready to deploy, and that it was just going to be Jessica running all of this on her own. And I was like, hey, how can I help?
Awesome.
And they brought me on board, and we've been
we need more people like you.
Yep.
Hunts, and we've just been going like crazy.
So let's talk about the multiple programs that you guys offer so we can really get to the nuts and bolts. First of all, I know you guys talked about that brotherhood and some specialty trips. Let's talk about those expeditions that you guys do.
Go for it.
So we have our veteran experience, which is what I do, and that's hunting, fishing, camping, just getting our veterans together and getting them outdoors. We do that right here in San Diego, and we also have a branch in Arizona. So we do Arizona all over the state, and then we also do San Diego. And we do hunts, like I said, hunts, fishing, camping. And we actually have a hunt coming up here in 2 weeks in Arizona. We're going to be running to the snow. We're going to be chasing elk. It's going to be a lot of fun. But what that does is that gives me an opportunity to be around my fellow veterans. And I've been there, you know, I've been through the process of getting injured, going through that whole rehab process. And I can relate with a lot of these guys, especially on the physical and mental side of it. And then we serve regular veterans that haven't been wounded also, because they need that camaraderie. They need to be around their fellow veterans. That's a big part of it, and that's what brings that mental aspect into play, and that's what helps them get through that day to day, is having their brothers or sisters with them and being around them, being able to do things with them.
It's life-changing moments.
Absolutely.
And if they have a moment, and then the next moment, and the next moment, pretty soon it's adding up to some healing. And to some better outcomes, which I think that you guys have been seeing. I know you also have a wonderful program where it's encompassing the families.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit, Gold Star families are just so near and dear to all of our hearts. I hope that all of our viewers understand the impact that these Gold Star families go through, that have lost, and these children still have needs. So what is it you're doing to help with those families?
The Gold Star program actually started when my husband was deployed about 1.5 years ago. Kaleb and I hosted a turkey hunt up in Julian, and my, at that time, 8-year-old twins came with us, and they were just gravitated towards this group of veterans that we were serving. And we had a great event. Almost everybody got a bird and went home feeling really good. And I literally just woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and sat straight up in bed and was like, oh my gosh, my kids need something more in their life than what mom can provide just when dad's gone for, a few months. What about these Gold Star kids? So the next day I grabbed a piece of paper and just started hashing out the program, and we've formulated a mentorship program where active duty and veterans come into our quarterly mentoring events and teach the children a wide variety of life skills that would traditionally be taught from their father that they no longer have. So they do fishing, hiking, archery, knife safety tool skills, and learning how to use hand tools, just anything that you can possibly think of.
And they love it.
And it's great.
And it's creating memories, that mentorship that you guys are feeding into their lives, that's going to make a tremendous difference in their growth and what they already have such a stone to push uphill.
And it
the
gives
loss
them
that
a
they've had.
buddy,
Yeah.
a buddy to look up to, and they are some of our children and our mentors text back and forth, and they're excited for the event that's coming up next weekend. And it's just been we're making an impact on a very deep level with that program.
Absolutely.
So.
I'm so impressed with you, because so many people will hear say, I don't have time, I don't know how, I'm too busy, I've got all this stuff. And you're such a great example of talking about somebody who's busy, who probably didn't have the time. You said, nope, we're going to do this, and one chunk at a time. You did the paperwork, you set up the steps, you took on the first event, which then goes to the next event, which goes to the next event. And a lot of times these things will take on a life of themselves that now you found time you didn't know you had.
Yes.
And if everybody would kind of get to that mindset, think how much more giving we could do. And you guys are such a great example, and I hope that our viewers really reach out to find out more how we can support your program. What is it your biggest needs right now that our viewers can help support? What can we do for you?
Just share the mission, because you never know who you're going to touch. So it just really, we are here for you, and we would appreciate everybody's support. So.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your service.
you.
Thank you for you and your family's service.
Yes.
And we hope to have you guys on again soon and hear some updates.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. What an incredible way that you could reach out and give back, support this incredible foundation. And we'll be right back with more of Veterans One.
Introducing S1 Connect, Synergy One Lending's mobile app, the digital way to verify your assets to purchase a home. Download in your app store today. Step 1, click on Automatic Check. Step 2, select your institution or search manually. Step 3, enter your username and password to receive a security code. Step 4, click Save and Continue to submit your verification of assets. Synergy One Lending, a lender committed to speed, ease, and expertise.
If you follow us, you know that a big part of our show is our passion for VA homeownership, and we have an expert today that is no exception to that. Tim is a Marine veteran and a very big contributor to the success of the real estate community up there in North County, San Diego, and we get to talk to him today. Tim?
Hello.
I'm so happy
Thank
to
you.
talk to you. You're welcome. You've got a big career, so I kind of want to start at the beginning and move forward a little bit, but let's first talk about your amazing service in the military and the Marines.
Well, I don't know if it was all that amazing, but I did spend almost 25 years under contract in the Marine Corps. And,
Okay, so that is kind of amazing.
if you say so.
Yeah, don't minimize it.
Okay.
That's a big deal. So
All
thank
right.
you. Go ahead.
If you say so. Anyway, retired as a Marine Master Gunnery Sergeant in 2012. And then in 2013, decided to move back out here to beautiful San Diego and start a career in real estate. So very blessed that I had met a couple other veterans while I was still on active duty that had made the transition and were doing wonderful things in real estate. And they had offered me a place at the table if I ever wanted to come into the field. So I did take them up on that and eventually moved out here and started. And that was kind of the beginning to where I am now, 6 years later.
How was that transition for you? Just curious. I mean, to go from, the military and such a structured to now being, you're more of your own boss, you're self-employed and really have to be driven out there to meet the people and make the connections and do good. How was that for you?
Well, the truth is, Amy, is that it's not easy for veterans to transition in general. I mean, if you have a specific skill set that's needed, which is a direct correlation from their military job into a civilian job, yeah, most of those don't have too much trouble, but not everything is a direct transition. Fortunately for me, it still wasn't easy transition, but I had a sales background because I spent 12 and a half years in recruiting in the Marine Corps. Actually, it was a specialized field of prior service recruiting where I'd find these Marines who had served and got out and talk to them about going back in the reserves.
Wow.
So
That's a nice tie-in then.
it's a great tie-in. For matter of fact, I don't want to let the secret out, but I really think that if you're talking about a Marine Corps recruiter, probably any veteran in any service that served in recruiting, if they were good at what they did, they probably will have a very easy transition into real estate, and I think they can have a successful career if they'll apply the principles that they learned while they were
That was nice information. You did give a nice little trade secret there that I hope, people watching would take hold of. But let's talk about now your business, because I've seen you in action. You are so passionate about what you do, and it's not just transactional for you. I've seen it so relational. Let's talk about what that's been like for you now, working with veterans and kind of your passion for VA homeownership. I know you have all kinds of homeowners and, different demographics, but let's talk about your VA homeowners.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm very fortunate. Again, I think because of where I came from and what I've done, I do have a certain sphere. I've met a lot of military folks, and I love helping them. So many of them, they haven't had the opportunity to really understand what a VA home loan, kind of looks like and how that would apply to them being able to purchase.
Right.
Some have, and they kind of understand that secret sauce, and they want to get out there and buy and buy and buy. But I try to tell people, mostly veterans, while they're in, that they have to take advantage of what the government's given them. And what I mean by that is that, they're getting a certain amount of money every month to live, whether they're married or single, if they have the opportunity to live out in town, or they can live on base. But if they live out in town, they can get this additional money. Well, just in a generic term for you, or a generic number, they probably get somewhere in their career over 20 years, somewhere around $750,000 of tax-free money.
Wow.
A lot of people, they don't realize this. So why not leverage that money and the additional money that they already are making to realize the American dream?
Right. Then it's an asset.
Purchase a home and then be able to write off the taxes and write off the interest. And it's really awesome for them. I tell them, it's hard to believe, but once you buy, you will see, more than likely, right? You can't make a lot of mistakes, but they will see more money in their bank account at the end of the year than they ever did when they were renting or living on the base. And they come to me and they tell me, Tim, you are so Correct. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And it's so awesome because you are one of them. You've been there, you know it, you understand, what they've gone through, what they're going through, what they're looking at, what the budgets look like, and you're able to really transcend that into like, look, believe me, trust me. And I think that that's what's so awesome about you taking your years of service and then transferring it into now the passion that you have for real estate and VA home ownership. Is there any misconception that you'd love to say right now, no, this isn't the truth when it comes to VA home buying?
I would say that most of them feel like that they just don't have enough money to be able to purchase. That they feel like that if they are able to purchase, they will look at maybe what they've been paying for rent. And they think, well, if I paid $2,000 a month in rent, well then when I buy that home, I really can't have my total payment more than $2,000 because that's really my budget. But they don't, again, understand those underlying benefits to it. Again, writing off the taxes, writing off their interest, right? They're dropping down their taxable amount. Again, I'm no tax professional, but I've done this long enough to know there's these benefits that you just really have to be able to sit down with them and explain why purchasing and maybe purchasing and having a total payment that's more than what they were paying for rent is still very advantageous for them.
Now, I know you're also working with several veteran buyers and sellers right now. You have a seller in particular with a property you're kind of proud of. Why don't we touch on that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have this great retired Navy guy and his wife who is actually an Air Force veteran. So, husband and wife both served in the service. My main goal is just to help them get this house sold, but beautiful house up in Fallbrook, California on 2.2 acres. They completely remodeled this house. The inside is absolutely stunning. And pool, spa, room to do just really anything that a person would want to do. But can't wait to get that one sold for them. A lot of activity, so I'm expecting that one to be sold anytime.
I'm going to want to swing by and check that one out with you too.
Let's do it.
And I know there's so much more that you know and can explain, and I really hope that our viewers reach out to you because I know you would hold their hand and say, here, I got you, let me explain this to you and take some more time in depth because you're such an amazing resource. And I want to brag on you a little bit because I know you personally, and I know that you don't just have the passion for helping them grow their home ownership, but you also give back to a lot. I know you're also very involved in a lot of nonprofits that are especially here in San Diego County. So I just wanted to touch on your heart for that a little bit and say thank you for all the people that you give back to through your business because it's very special.
Thank you.
And thank you for your years of service. I really want to just let everybody know that you are accessible and reachable.
Yes. I am, absolutely.
And you specialize all San Diego?
I do. I don't work in just a little specific niche area. I don't work in a specific neighborhood. I don't work with specifically one branch of the service. I work with everyone, everywhere. San Diego, South Riverside County, South Orange County. I even sold a couple homes up in LA in the last year. So that's not where I really want to go, but I did live there at one time, so I know the area. But absolutely, no, I absolutely love working with our active duty military and our veteran community. I work with everyone. I have a large span. But you know what? You touched on something that I want to mention. Real estate has really provided me a platform and the ability to give back to our veterans. I give back to more than just veterans and veteran nonprofits. I also give back to some other faith-based and people with food pantries and things like that, like up in Fallbrook where I live. But I was looking at a spreadsheet this morning before coming down here, and I've donated money and time to almost 20 different nonprofits this year alone, and I wouldn't be able to do that without real estate.
Right.
So I don't forget where I came from, and so I want to constantly give back to those other nonprofits out there. And the more people that I get to work with, the more money I get to continue to give back and more time.
I love that because what an example you just set. A lot of people think that they can't give back or they don't have the resources, but everybody can take what they have and give back and then multiply that, and you're a perfect example. So thank you so much, and for taking the time to be here with us on Veterans One.
Yeah.
I enjoy you as a friend out there in the real estate field and doing other projects together, and I hope that our viewers, again, reach out to you because you truly are a one of a kind. Thank you so much, too.
Thank you, Amy.
We'll be right back with more Veterans One. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. And as the holidays are here, we hope we've really given you some ideas on how you can give back and make sure and say thank you to a military family, especially in this time. If they have lost a loved one or if they have someone deployed, this is a time we want to give them special love. Remember to share the content, reach out to us on social media. We love your comments, and make sure you watch the next episode of Veterans One. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs. Thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you to Synergy One Lending for making this happen. Have a great holiday.